From Lady Mary and Matthew's scandalous kiss at the dinner table to the moment when Mr. Carson and Mrs. Hughes finally get together, these are the sexiest kissing scenes in Downton Abbey. So the Edwardian period piece has been immensely popular worldwide, not just for the gorgeous sets, clothes, and picturesque sceneries, but some great storylines and truly incredible performances. The show first aired in 2010 and since then has amassed a cult following. What made the show stand out among the many shows on television at the time was perhaps the strong storylines, the slow-paced lives of the aristocrats, and of course the struggles of the proletariat along with the royals. The show delved deep into the lives of the Crawleys and their staff, and with brilliant storytelling, hooked the audience, leaving them at the edge of their couches with the will they, won't they tropes. Period piece? Check. Strong storylines? Check. Character development? Double check. The way they explored the Crawley sisters' dynamic and their growth over time has got to be one of my favorite things about the show. And how could anyone not love the jolly little Miss Patmore and her delectable desserts? Apart from the nostalgia that the show left its audience with, there were many moments that had the audience's hearts thumping fast. Yep, the show wasn't without its own set of steamy romances. Speaking of which, this first kiss is one for the books. Mary and Matthew share their first kiss in episode 6 of the first season. The scandalous instance happens at the dinner table right after everybody leaves, and thankfully so. A kiss at the dinner table doesn't sound too scandalous, but hear me out. At the time the show is set in, it was already scandalous enough that the two were left alone in the first place, not to mention the backstory for the two lovers that had the audience at the edge of their seats after every episode. Honestly, even I had held my breath about when the two would finally get it on. I mean, talk about a hot enemy to lovers trope. Factoring in Mary's sarcastic, sharp tongue and Matthew's wholesome nature, the romance would have been spectacular, and the dinner table kiss certainly was. It starts as Matthew teases Mary about the cruel things she said to him, and Mary half-heartedly says that he mustn't pay attention to what he says. And the two finally make out passionately. While Matthew and Mary were probably the fan-favorite couple, the next one was mine. And yes, it's the adorable Anna and Mr. Bates. Bates and Anna slowly get together throughout the first season. I mean, the spark surely set when the show began, but their sweet-natured romance and the respectability around it surely made it one of my favorite romances ever. The kiss is certainly a hugely memorable moment in the story of star-crossed lovers for multiple reasons. The primary one is how the two couldn't officially be together because of Mr. Bates's marriage. Not to mention, according to the timeline, the two share their first kiss after 4 frickin' years of meeting. Yikes. Now that's a long-ass time to wait to kiss someone who likes you as much as you like them. The kiss happens as Bates tells Anna that they can finally be together as he can get a divorce, and thus it signifies the beginning of a happy time for the couple. I mean, if you've seen the show, that's not what happens, but let's not go into gory details. On the note of tragedy-filled love stories, the next kiss on my list certainly takes the cake for the title in the show. Sybil and Branson share their first kiss, and a long-awaited one at that, in the 7th episode of the second season. At this point, the two genuinely show interest in each other, and honestly, rich girl falling for the passionate political poor man has got to be one of my personal favorite tropes. I mean, leave the riches and go live your romantic, humble life, girl. Getting back on track, Sybil visits Branson in the garage to talk politics, and during their conversations, the two decide to run away together. Cause man, there ain't no way in hell Lord Grantham's gonna let his youngest daughter marry a frickin' chauffeur. What's cute is that the actors who portray these roles, Alan Leach and Jessica Brown Findlay, were also waiting for the kiss just as much as the audience. There's only so much slow burning that the audience and the actors can take. Another kiss that was perhaps even more perfect than the previous was one when Mary and Matthew exchanged when they got engaged. And boy, was it one for the ages. After years of going back and forth, Matthew and Mary finally got engaged in the show's season 2 finale. The build-up for this moment was honestly one of the best parts. We're talking Lady Mary hoeing around, Matthew being engaged to someone else, and a whole lot of other things. Well, the two characters were certainly destined to be together because the writing for this scene was nothing short of spectacular. The snowy proposal certainly looked like a scene right out of a movie. And can we take a moment to appreciate how gorgeous Michelle Dockery looked? The kiss surely was iconic, not only in the Downton Abbey universe, but in television history period. Though the next kiss on my list is about a couple, which nearly took the entire show slow to blossom. Mrs. Hughes and Carson kissed passionately in Downton Abbey's first episode of the 6th season, and fans all around the world rejoiced. Though the people are one of the oldest couples on the show, their love story is one of the sweetest ones. They both anticipate what the other would need without saying. The two get along perfectly well, and both take their jobs very seriously. A match made in heaven, if you'd ask me. Though initially Mrs. Hughes seems a bit apprehensive about it all. But after Carson admits that he hasn't been ever so sure of anything, the two lock lips to, well, officialize their engagement. According to Jim Carter, the actor who played Carson, the kiss was a huge deal for both of their characters, and it also proved to be a turning point for Mrs. Hughes. Phyllis Logan, on the other hand, revealed that she had hoped for a bit more build-up on the show and was kind of surprised when she saw the kiss right there and then. And boy, am I glad they did. Another slow build-up on the show was for my girl Edith. So imagine my excitement when she meets, gets to know, and kisses the love of her life. I mean, the kiss happens in season 4, and at this point, most of the characters have found perfect partners. But it took a bit longer for Edith to finally experience true love. Though it took a while, she seemed so happy that I wouldn't have it any other way. The middle Crawley sister finds love in a London editor, Michael Gregson, who, safe to say, has swept Edith off her feet. The only catch in the situation is that the man has an estranged wife. While the two pursue a relationship, at a dinner, Edith boldly asks him if she could kiss him, and what follows is one wholesome but steamy makeout sesh. In an interview, Laura Carmichael, who played Edith, revealed that she enjoyed letting her sexual side come out, and that it was fun for her to do so because it seemed naturally befitting in her story. What did I say about brilliant character development on the show? Finally, we have some much-awaited queer romance on the show. And who else does the Sexy Kiss title go to other than the OG hot butler, Mr. Barrow? In the Downton Abbey movie, Thomas experiences unexpected romance. A character that started out as a scheming person, to see his growth over the years was one of the best parts of the show. He softens and surely becomes one of the show's most likable people. Being gay, we've seen him struggle to find anything close to a romance. So much so that the poor thing often finds himself in murky situations with other men. Richard, a visiting servant, develops a connection with Thomas as the movie progresses, and as he is about to leave, he pulls in Thomas for a kiss. The best part was he gave him a locket so Thomas could remember him. I mean, talk about a beautiful, beautiful moment. And there you have it, Downton Abbey's sexiest kissing scenes.
Oh, I don't know.
I assume you speak in a spirit of mockery.
You won't mind burning your bridges.
Mind? Fetch me the matches.